Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Our flag salute will be led by Commissioner Murphy Corwin.
Thank you. Please stand. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Today's a second day of our two-day meeting, and we'd like to take a moment to give a warm welcome for our new State Board of Education and one Assembly appointed commissioners to the IQC. With us today, we would like to welcome Christine Chapman and Shay Fairchild, Jose Lara, Yolanda Munoz, and Alma Delia Renteria. And in just a minute, we're gonna let them just say just a few words about themselves so that members of the public have an opportunity to get to know them a little bit better. Yesterday we had our orientation, and certainly among our team we got to know them very well. Yesterday was an opportunity for us to learn and review, both for incoming as well as new commissioners, review the process, get some training for this important work, and also reflect on the Commission's policies, procedures, goals, and focus on some training areas, which sometimes time doesn't permit when we're on the dais. So at this time, why don't we go ahead and start with Commissioner Chapman, and tell us a few words about yourself. We just had our training yesterday, and that takes a while. It took me at least almost a year to figure this out.
Good morning. My name is Christine Chapman. I am a K-5 administrator from Delano, California, which is at the bottom of the Central Valley. I am really passionate about meeting the needs of second language learners, STEM education in the classroom, and also equity.
And then Commissioner Fairchild.
Hello, my name is Shay Fairchild. I am an instructional coach for TK through 12, focus on science in the Norwalk-La Mirada Unified School District, which is right on the Orange County, LA County border. I am very passionate about the whole child education and making sure that students have access to quality instruction.
Great, thank you. And Commissioner Lara.
Hello, everybody. I'm really excited to be here. Jose Lara, a social justice educator from Los Angeles, California. Also board member for the great El Rancho Unified School District, our little piece of heaven. And I'm really interested in culturally responsive and linguistically responsive pedagogy, curriculum and instruction, with a real focus on disadvantaged groups. Thank you.
And Commissioner Renteria.
Good morning, everyone. I am also really excited to be here. Again, my name is Alma Renteria. I am a proud digital learning instructional coach in El Rancho Unified. Little piece of heaven, he's right. It is a great community. But I am also a school board vice president for Linwood Unified, my own little piece of heaven, also a great school board. I have a lot of passions, but I think some of my biggest ones are definitely also STEM, equity, English language development, and college preparedness in order to make sure that we help students go to and through college. So I'm really, really excited to be a part of this commission.
And Commissioner Munoz.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? My name is Yolanda Munoz. I am a third grade teacher in Pasadena Unified School District. My passion is curriculum and instruction. I am a teacher leader as well in the Instructional Leadership Course, a partnership with California Teachers Association and Stanford University. My passion is making sure that the curriculum and instruction are effective for both students and teachers, as well as working with ELD students and the economically disadvantaged and our special ed. And my passion also is working with STEAM and the environmental issues that face California.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. It's been wonderful getting to know you. Next on the agenda is the election of the chair, vice chair, and the additional 3 members of the executive committee. These are conducted by our executive director, Stephanie Gregson, and now I turn the gavel over to her.
Well, before we begin the elections, I'd like to welcome Dr. Tom Adams to the podium. He's our Deputy Superintendent of the Teaching and Learning Support Branch here at the California Department of Education, and I know he'd like to welcome our new commissioners.
Good morning. Is this working? There we go. Actually, if you want to hold your elections first, and then I'll come and talk, and then I can address the appropriate officers, that would be great. So I don't want to interrupt your business. But my name is Tom Adams. I'm the Deputy Superintendent for the Teaching and Learning Support Branch. I'll be happy to come after the elections, and maybe we can do some analysis of it and combine math and history, social science.
Okay, with that, then we will begin the elections of our chair, vice chair, and the 3 executive committee members. So before I begin, though, I would really like to take a moment to thank Chair Diaz for all of her work during the 2017 year on the commission. She experienced a lot this year with our history, social science, instructional materials adoption. She experienced the very engaging and huge amount of civic engagement that we had during this entire process. And she handled the public comment, the hours of public comment, the presentation in front of the state board with grace and strength and intelligence. And I just really appreciate your guidance for the commission during that very important time for our teachers and our students. And it was a pleasure serving as your executive director while you were chair.
Just, kindly respond. Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful experience, and, it's a team effort, right? We're just here to serve, and we're here to serve our kids, and that's the best we can bring to the table. And I think we all, not just myself, but everyone here, when we sit at this dais, we're all bringing our best to serve our students. So thank you for this opportunity, and thank you for those kind words.
So this is the only time a non-commissioner facilitates an agenda item. The elections for the 2018 committee chairperson, vice chairperson, and executive committee shall be separate elections conducted in that order according to Robert's Rules of Order, with nominations made from the floor. The election shall be a majority vote of voting members. The chairperson and the vice chairperson must receive a majority of the votes cast in order to be elected. And the 3 executive committee members will be the 3 nominees who receive the most votes. In cases where there are more than 2 candidates for chair or vice chair and no one receives a majority of the votes cast, then the 2 candidates with the most votes shall continue to the next round of voting. The candidate with the most votes in the second round will be the winner. No one may be a candidate without being present at the meeting and without one's consent. Is there any discussion that you would like to have around this information? Okay, then I'd like to begin by taking nominations for chair.
I nominate Dean Reese.
Do I have another nomination?
I second.
Are there any other nominations for chair? Okay, since there is only one candidate that's being nominated for chair, this will be done by acclamation. So I would like to get acclamation from the commissioners with an aye or aye vote for having Dean Reese be your 2018 chair.
Aye.
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 All right. Welcome, Chair Reese. You can switch if you'd like right now. I think Chair Diaz is eager to switch your name tags. Here, switch your name tags. Okay. So I will now take nominations for vice chair.
I nominate Suman Chow, Commissioner Chow.
Thank you.
I'll nominate Commissioner Diaz.
Right, so we have 2 candidates for nomination. Do we have any other candidates for vice chair? Okay, seeing that I have all nominations, we have 2 candidates, so we'll take a vote for each one. So a vote will be called by a show of hands. The candidate with the majority majority of the votes is elected to the vice chair. So our first nominee was Suman Chow. May I please see a show of hands for Vice Chair Chow? Okay, that's 12 votes. And may I see votes for Commissioner Diaz as Vice Chair? Okay. Commissioner Chow, with the majority of the votes at 12, you are now serving as Vice Chair for IQC. Welcome. Yes, so I strategically placed you with your mentors, so you're gonna have to move it. Let's wait and then we'll move, or we can just have the vice chair sit. Well, no, we'll move. Okay, so now we have the nominations for the executive committee. So I will take nominations for 3 executive committee members. May I please have the first nomination?
I nominate Commissioner Murphy Corwin.
I nominate Commissioner Diaz.
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Krishna.
Do I have all the nominations? Okay, seeing as how we have 3 nominations for the executive committee, and there are only 3 spots for the executive committee, we'll do this by acclamation. So do all commissioners agree that Commissioner Murphy Corwin, Commissioner Diaz, and Commissioner Krishna will become the executive committee of the IQC? Aye. Raise your hands. All right. You now have your executive committee. All right, so with that, I now happily turn the gavel over to your 2018 Commissioner Chair, Reese. Congratulations. All right, should we do a little bit of rearranging now, or do we want to wait till, should we do it now?
Sure, we can do that.
Okay.
So I'd now like to welcome Dr. Adams to say a few words.
Well, good morning and congratulations. I'm Tom Adams. I'm the Deputy Superintendent for the Teaching and Learning Support Branch. It's great to see the commission in action here, and I do want to say to all of you, thank you for taking up this important duties. I just want to let you know a few things. First of all, I want to thank former Chair Diaz, that must sound like a relief now, for her leadership throughout the last year. It was a challenging time, but I want to echo the comments that Executive Director Gregson said, which is you face this all with grace under pressure and a willingness to reach out and understand all and listen to all. And so, if anything, I think of those are the skill sets, not simply of a great chair, but also of an excellent educator. So thank you. And I do want to just let you know, at one time I did have the position of executive director of the Instructional Quality Commission, and I would always have many teachers come up to me and say, I'm on this commission, what does it mean? What do I do? And I would say, well, remember, you're among friends and colleagues, and second of all, your skill set is deeper than you think. I had one former commissioner said, well, I'm chair now, what does that mean? How do I control all these people? What do I do? And I said, well, you teach third grade. And she said, yeah. I said, well, some of those skill sets you have for third graders apply to commissioners. And sure enough, it was a very successful year for her. So I do want you to be aware of that. And I'm happy to see that there are board members here on their local school boards. I also serve on the board of the Davis Joint Unified School District. So happy to see you at the next CSBA conference, and we'll link up there. But also I want to offer all the resources, the Teaching and Learning Support Branch. It means what we have in that branch is 7 divisions. Excuse me, I'm just getting over a cold, so I'm trying to talk with a cough drop in my mouth. But you obviously have the resources of the Curriculum Frameworks and Instructional Resources Division, but also I want you to be aware we have the Early Education Support Division. So think of how important early education is in terms of making sure our students are prepared, and any of the developments that we have there, happy to share with you, and the hope of informing some of your curriculum frameworks. We also have the English Learner Support Division. Here, they've been leading us on the EL Roadmap, this great new document in terms of leading California forward. In terms of English learners, it's been foundation funded, but we've created a new community and consensus on English learner issues, and I think that's an important model for the rest of the country. And the great thing is, it was your groundbreaking document, the ELA ELD framework, which set the course for this and allowed us to go deeper and richer with those issues. We also have the Career and College Transition Division to help you. We all know how important career and college is now that it's one of the indicators on the dashboard, and we'd be happy to have Donna Wyatt and her group come and talk to you about what it means for high school reform and the important issue of making sure all students are career and college ready. We also have the Professional Learning Support Division. Barbara Murchison and her folks are done a lot. They're working in tandem with CFIR, and especially on issues like computer science. But they are also going to be our leaders on the issue of social emotional learning. So when that is done, and we're going to have some documents be coming out in February, we're happy to have them come and present on that. We had some great support throughout the state on that. The other one other division we have is a special education division. We saw with the dashboard the need to address students with disabilities and how that is an important issue throughout the state. The need to improve teaching and instruction there. And so we're happy to share some of the more recent resources as well as future resources coming out of there. Notably, maybe even have a discussion about the dyslexia report with you and share that. And lastly, I want to talk about the Expanded Learning Division. Michael Funk and his group talk about making sure that we connect our students before, during, and after school. And this is one of those areas where I think is important in understanding the needs of our students and making sure that all of our resources on the campus or next to the campus are connected to the classroom instruction, and we make sure that we know our students throughout the whole day. And so definitely glad to have him come and present later at a future meeting. to you. So that's just my branch, but we also know we have important issues in terms of assessment and accountability. Definitely, we're happy to have Michelle Center from the Assessment Division, as well as Cindy Kazanis from the Accountability Division, talk to you about the dashboard and assessment results. These are all the rich resources of the department that we want to extend to you so that you can remain fully informed. And so when you come to Sacramento, you not only do the work as a commissioner, but you gain new resources to take back to your districts. And that's one of the things we want you to be, our ambassadors to the field. Lastly, I would be remiss in letting you know about the important resource you have in terms of your state board liaisons. Both of them, I can say, have, and others who show up, say it's like Trish Williams for science, they are like the Oracle of Delphi. Although they speak with more clarity and greater wisdom. Their expertise is not only in the knowledge of the state board, but the educational system. And if you're looking for sage advice, it comes to you at the right price, but more importantly, you'll find it a friendly voice and people you can trust in terms of knowing they share the same thing as you. And that's, I like what you said, Lizette, which is we're going to make decisions in the best interest of our kids. And that's what I always ask people. They say, how should I decide? I said, well, first of all, even though you're in Sacramento, clear away all the politics. Go back to when you were a classroom teacher and think about what you needed then and what can help that classroom teacher the most. And if that's your compass, then you'll be a good commissioner. There are many times when people tried to game the system or thought the commission was more than it was in terms of a political body. But the reality is you have to set the compass of keeping in mind the teacher in the classroom with those 20 pairs of eyes looking at you saying, what are we going to do next and what can we learn next? So just keep that in mind. And again, thank you for taking up this service.
Thank you, Dr. Adams, for your words of wisdom and your vision and giving us access to all the resources that you stated. We always feel like we're in good hands, you know? Okay, let's see. So is it okay if I say a few words? Are we ready for that? Are we going to continue on?
Report.
Okay, well, yes, I have a,
Report of the chair.
yes,
So
I do.
Doing the minutes first, and then you can have your report of the chair.
Okay, let's see that. Where are we here? Oh, okay. Yep. Okay. So let's go for an approval of the minutes. Do I have a? You have the minutes of the November 16th through 17th, 2017 commission meeting before you. If you have substantive changes, please present them now. If there are minor changes not affecting the content, please submit them to the staff. Does anybody have any changes to the minutes? No?
Commissioner Tonkovich submitted her changes yesterday.
Okay.
for clarification.
Great. So then can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I so move.
I second.
Okay. So Commissioner Wu moves and Commissioner Lara approves, or Commissioner Lara seconds the motion. Is there any discussion? Any public comment? Okay, then I call for a vote. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay, motion passes. Great. Okay, so now we have the report of the 2018 IQC chair. And so I just want to say good morning and thank you, fellow commissioners and Executive Director Stephanie Gregson, for putting your confidence in me as chair of the IQC. Without my family's support and the support of my little slice of heaven, Tracy Unified School District, providing me with some release time, to do this good work, it would not be possible. I'm excited as I look forward to the body of work that we'll be engaging in. We have quite a job ahead of us this year. There's so much to do. That's exciting. But the commissioners that are sitting on the dais here never cease to amaze me. Over the past 3 years, I've been an observer of their dedication to our work and understanding of the current academic standards, vision for new standards and curriculum frameworks, and remarkable facilitation skills. Having worked with our 5 new commissioners yesterday at our new commissioner orientation, I know that they're coming in with a depth of educational experience that will have them contributing to our work in important ways beginning today. So that's exciting. Collectively, we aim to support the State Board of Education and help serve the over 6 million students in California's K-12 public education system. And I just want to say it's a great honor and a pleasure to serve as your chair. All right. Let's see. Okay, so I will now call. Yep.
Executive Director report.
Okay. I am lost here already. Okay. Dr. Gregson, would you like to share your executive director's report?
I would. Thank you so much. I
Great.
appreciate it. So we received very exciting news on Wednesday with the governor's budget announcement. For the first time in 6 years, the Instructional Quality Commission was in the January budget. We received $938,000 to continue the work of our 9 big, important, vital projects and work of the Instructional Quality Commission. So I'm very excited. We had cheers in Seaford on Wednesday. We were very excited at the news when that came out. And so this means that we just keep on working, we get to continue on. So with that, we have our Computer Science Standard Advisory Committee meeting at the end of the month on Monday and Tuesday, January 20th, 22nd. Yes, so very excited about that. This group has worked extremely diligently. They even had 4 sets of homework over the holiday break because they are truly dedicated computer science educators. And as was told by us in the very beginning of this process, that we had the opportunity to create gold star standards in California because of our timing in waiting for the Computer Science Teachers Association standards to come out and not be in draft form anymore, and then all of the expertise we had in the room and across California. So this group is very excited, and the last meeting is the end of the month where they will be forwarding the standards, the draft standards, to the Instructional Quality Commission, so you'll be able to review them at your March meeting. The next exciting event is our Health Education Framework is the last meeting of the Curriculum Framework and Evaluation Criteria Committee. At the end of this month, this group has worked extremely diligently since May of last year and has gone through iterations of chapters, and the improvement of the document from what its first form to now is amazing. We're really excited about it. And so it's just more homework for you, as we talked about yesterday, lots of reading. But then what will happen is in March, the draft will come to you for you to review and put out for your public comment, as we talked about yesterday. Some other exciting news is that the History Social Science Framework rollouts are continuing in 2018. We have about 8 different rollout sessions across California, and that information is on our website, and I know some of the commissioners are able to attend those, so it's very exciting that we are able to continue from 2017 into 2018 and provide professional learning opportunities for our history, social science teachers and administrators. We're also beginning the work of the science instructional materials adoption in helping districts prepare for analyzing the instructional materials that will be reviewed by our instructional materials reviewers and content review experts, you as commissioners, and then taken action by state board. The NGSS Collaborative, which includes the K-12 Alliance, the California Department of Education, the Curriculum Instruction Steering Committee for county offices. We work together, and the California Science Teachers Association, we work together on creating professional learning opportunities. And this next phase, phase 5 as we call it, is really focused around instructional materials and helping districts analyze what they need to know when they go and review instructional materials and be prepared for. So that's going to be very exciting. Those sessions will begin late 2018 and into 2019. So we're beginning that work. Another very exciting piece was on January 9th, we held an ethnic studies model curriculum webinar where we had almost 60 participants across the state and even outside of the state, experts in ethnic studies, and they provided input to us on what they would like to see within the ethnic studies model curriculum that we will begin work on at the end of this year and throughout 2019. So the History Social Science Subject Matter Committee gets a little bit of a break and then back into it with the ethnic studies model curriculum. So we're very excited about all the work that we have. Also with History Social Science, there is going to be an adoption toolkit available at the end of this month for districts and school sites to use as they are reviewing the state board adopted instructional materials for History Social Science. That concludes my report.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Gregson. Now we'd like to welcome the State Board of Education liaisons for a report from the State Board.
Good morning, everybody. So Member Rucker and I are really delighted to share with you some really important and engaging activities. We have a State Board meeting next week. The agenda has been posted. There's a lot of things going on, so we're going to try to share some of the comments. First, as you know, the dashboard came out with the current data as of spring of 2017. And so this is the first time we've been identifying, as part of LCFF, you do not identify individual schools, you identify local education agencies. So we really believe that if a school is struggling, the district and support system is really important. And so we're going to be talking about that again with our system of support. We've been talking about that for several meetings. And so part of the identification is important to know that more than half of the districts that got identified for needing supports, they had problems with students with special needs, which we know special ed's a really important issue to focus on, and statewide we're looking at that issue. So that mathematics is a big concern of ours. And so we're going to be talking next week about the identification of the school, the LEAs that need support, and what the system of support would be. And similar to when we talk about multi-tiered system support for students, we're talking about that for local education agencies as well. What we do for those who need support, what we need for those that need a little more intensive, and trying to build the tiered support. And in the governor's budget, there was some money for regional county support efforts, and so we'll be talking a lot about that next week as far as what is the support for districts. Understanding that it's not the same game as CST where you're looking at a few kids on a point trying to get them up to the next level. It's really trying to look at the root causes of what the problems are. Also know that a couple of our indicators, like college and career indicator, came on this year, but we wait another year before we have data to show growth and color ratings. But if you get on the dashboard, and if you're a secondary person, you might be interested, is there's a lot of information about meeting A to G, how they did in Smarter Balance, and some of those things that I think are going to provide schools and districts a lot of data and support as well. And then the English Learner Indicator has a new assessment coming on as well. So we're going to be talking a lot about that next week as well. And then just to know that what we all realize is what happens in the classroom makes all the difference for student achievement. And the second most important factor is what happens with administrative support with teachers in the classroom. So in collaboration with the Department of Ed and the county SSESA, the County Superintendent's Organization, there's committees working of experts in math and science. For example, the science is meeting today, of collaboration committees that are bringing regional groups together 3 times a year to build capacity so that regions can then support districts in their area. We're a very large state. And so there'll be additional work on, we've developed all these frameworks, we've developed these materials, now how are we going to impact classroom practice? And many of you are on some of those activities, but the idea is that just because we pass policy, that's not done, that we need to really impact classroom practice as well. So there'll be a lot more about the rollouts and the regional support to build capacity. And I'm going to pass to Member Rucker to talk a little bit about the discussion on ESSA.
Good morning, commissioners, and I want to add my congratulations and my message of welcome to the new commissioners and continue my admiration and thanks for the commissioners who are continuing with us today. I'm going to talk a little bit about the state plan for California that's being submitted to be in compliance with the Every Student Succeeds Act. You may recall the state of California, since the act was signed reauthorizing the No Child Left Behind and the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, the state has been involved in many levels of conversation among stakeholders and among policy organizations and even the legislature about how to implement the requirements under the Every Student Succeeds Act. People have been very excited about the implementation of this legislation because it's the signing of this legislation into law marked a change in the relationship that the federal government would have with states and local school districts in the policy and monitoring and development and improvement of schools to meet the needs of some of the lowest performing schools and some of the students of greatest needs. California did submit and develop a plan. The State Board of Education took action last fall to approve a plan that was submitted to the federal government in September. Now, from this point forward, I'm going to refer to the federal government as ED. That's an easier way to talk about the Department of Education, is to give ED and ID. The first time I actually saw the reference to ED in a memo, I said, who is this guy Ed, and why does he get to have so much to say about what I'm doing here in California? So for that reason, I'm going to refer to Ed, to give him a personality and an id, to talk to you about the ongoing relationship that California has, not only with the Department of Education, but with the work that we are leading and developing and implementing, not only ESSA, but to make sure that ESSA conforms to the work that California is doing with the implementation of the local control accountability plans, as well as the work that Board Member Strauss talked to you about intervention, sanctioning, and supporting schools. The U.S. Department of Education provided feedback on California's ESSA state plan. They reached out to Department of Education staff just before the holidays with a conference call, and they followed up with a 15-page letter that's called the interim feedback letter. Ed had many opinions about what California was doing in the plan that it submitted, based on the department's review of all programs that were submitted under California's consolidated plan, including programs that were subject to peer review. The department has requested additional information to ensure that California state plan meets all the statutory and regulatory requirements. Now, California has a great deal of flexibility in how it's going to meet the statutory and regulatory requirements. Ed says they don't understand some of the things that we intend to do. California intends to make sure that there's a clear connection and an overlap with the reporting and monitoring requirements that have been enumerated in state policies concerning the local control and accountability plan, so that for accountability, reporting, and monitoring purposes, the work that is already subsumed and required of LEAs and of county offices in monitoring and supporting schools, the focus is on continuous improvement, not sanctioning. And for that reason, Ed wants to understand not only how we are defining long-term and interim goals, but what are the metrics that are going to be used for doing the monitoring. And so they have asked for both material and technical changes in the plan that would include a great deal more detail for long-term and immediate activities for mandated reporting, as well as what the metrics will be used for interim and intermediate monitoring. Now, the deadline for submitting these revisions to the department is January 8th. Now, I'll let you think about that for a minute. So when Ed sent that memo back in December, it was just before, as Stephanie told you yesterday, it was just before the department was going on vacation. Ed has no balance in their lives. So, but the other issue we have, these plans, in order to be submitted, also require state action from the state education agency, the State Board of Ed. Our meeting is next week. there was a request made of a waiver of time and of an extension so that the state would have until the week of January 22nd to actually submit a revision. With the kind of information being requested on details, not only about the metrics being used for accountability reporting, but the type of interim activities that will be required of LEAs to do the reporting and monitoring and to collect the data, the board has a lot of conversations that we're looking forward to having next week on the state plan. While none of that is going to have an impact on the framework discussions and the conversations that you will be having today, I do want to remind the IQC that when Dr. Honig was your committee chairman, he created an accountability committee, and there were some members who were appointed to that committee. So there will probably be some conversations going forward with the IQC about what the state plans look like and if that is going to have a sustained impact on decisions you will make concerning content and support in frameworks going forward. So we're looking forward to next week's board meeting, to next week's conversation, but we really do appreciate not only the work that's been done by the IQC, but by our other partner, the California Practitioners Advisory Group, whose work informed a lot of those conversations that created that draft. So going forward, that draft will be looked at by the board, and hopefully we'll be able to address all of Ed's requests. And going forward in this conversation, many of my colleagues like to remind us that the federal budget contribution to California's education system is about 10% of the total budget that California spends. However, what's exciting about ESSA is that there are clear guidelines that are parallel to the intent of the work we are trying to do and implement with the LCFF. For us, accountability and monitoring remains a question we live with about what are the best practices for monitoring and support, and what the focus on continuous improvement means not only focuses on what we're reporting, but what we are asking schools to do with the data. So that'll be the continuing conversation that we'll also have with Ed. Thank you very much for that, for giving us the opportunity to talk with you about that.
It is our pleasure. Thank you, Board Member Rucker and Board Member Strauss, for your report. Okay, are there other matters or for public comment at this time? And non-agenda items? No. Hearing none? Okay. Next, we'll go to the Executive Committee, the meeting of the Executive Committee. So I'll call the meeting of the Executive Committee to order. Okay, so these are members, Commissioner Chow, Commissioner Diaz, Commissioner Krishna, and Commissioner Murphy-Corwin. Okay, and it looks like everyone, even all the new commissioners, already know exactly what to do. It's great, great training. Okay, so the first item of business is the appointment of the subject matter committee chairs. Commissioners, in your agenda packet under the tab Executive Committee, Item 2ABC, Attachment 1, is the results of the committee preference survey. So take a minute to locate that document, and let me review the survey results. I would like everyone to remain in the room in case there are questions. Also in your agenda packet, Attachment 2 is a blank committee assignment chart.
You also have a hard copy of that blank chart in your red action folder.
Okay. So is it okay to take this kind of informally in the sense that we can just talk about preferences? So moving to ELA, ELD, for the, it's our responsibility at this time to determine a chair for that committee. This is for the Executive Committee, to determine a chair for the ELA, ELD Subject Matter Committee. Does anybody have a preference? Yeah,
I'd like to serve as chair for the ELALD.
Okay. Any other discussion on that subject matter committee? Okay. So, okay, and should we talk about committee members as well, or we'll do that after? After, okay. So now we're going to go to math. Do we have any recommendations for chair of the math subject matter committee?
Can I make a change? I'd like to delete myself from the science and add a request to be added to math.
Okay. Right now, we're just considering chairs. And are you interested in chairing the math committee, subject matter committee?
If other commissioners are not, then I'm happy to lead that. But if there's another commissioner who's interested.
I would like to encourage Commissioner Krishna to consider being chair of the math.
Thank you, Commissioner Corwin. I'm happy to take that on.
The only other consideration would be Commissioner Chapman, who's brand new. But sometimes it's a little intimidating to step up to chair as a brand new commissioner. But you did put that as your first preference on your chart.
Of course, I would be willing to chair that.
Thank you. We will be here to encourage and support you.
So it's really the executive committee's preference here. So for chair. So what would you like to do?
I would like to encourage Commissioner Chapman.
Okay. So Commissioner Chapman, oh, well, are we do that at the end, right? Or do you want to do that now?
Yeah, you do it now.
Oh, okay.
You basically.
We're just setting up the chair and then just making sure they're interested. Okay, so Commissioner Chapman, do you accept, are you ready to accept chair of the math subject matter committee?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. So, okay, moving on, and do we do vice chair at this time as well? Okay, just chair, all right.
Vice chair is done with the subject matter committee.
Great. So now we're going to move on to history, social science. I would like to recommend that Commissioner Krishna be chair of the history, social science subject matter committee.
I would be honored to accept that.
Is there any other further discussion on that? Okay, so Commissioner Krishna, sounds like you are ready to take on chair. Okay. Moving on to science. So there's according to the preference chart, it looks like we have commissioners that would like to co-chair science, which sounds like a really good idea considering the instructional materials adoption coming up and all the work that will go into that. So Commissioner Bromelsek and Commissioner Chow, would you like to co-chair? Are you ready to co-chair the science subject matter committee?
Certainly. I would love that opportunity. Thank you.
Great. Okay, awesome. Let's go to health. Commissioner Wu, you've been leading the way with the.
You might want to get your executive committee to
Confirm?
have anything
Yeah.
they want to say.
On science?
On anything?
Yeah.
I think Commissioner Wu would make an excellent chair for health,
Okay.
given the fact that she's been serving. So I would recommend her.
Are there any further discussion on possible chairs for health? Okay, hearing none. Commissioner Wu, are you ready to take on chair of the health subject matter committee?
I am.
Great. Okay, moving on to PE, physical education.
I'd also like to recommend Wu. She's an overachiever. And so chair for PE, physical education.
Okay. Any other thoughts from the executive committee? Okay, Commissioner Wu, are you ready to chair the PE subject matter committee?
I am.
Great. Okay, moving on to VAPA.
I would like to recommend Commissioner Tonkovich. She has been the chair and has been outstanding, and I would like to see her continue.
Okay, do I hear any further discussion of possible chairs for the VAPA Subject Matter Committee? Okay, hearing none. Commissioner Tonkovich, are you ready to chair and to continue chairing the Visual and Performing Arts Subject Matter Committee?
Yes, I am.
Great. Okay, moving on to world language.
I'd like to recommend Commissioner Nititz for chair for the world language.
Okay, do I hear any further discussion on that point? Okay, Commissioner Naditz, are you ready to take on chair of the World Language Subject Matter Committee?
Yes, thank you.
Great. Okay, moving on to Ed Tech.
I would be willing to chair the Ed Tech.
Okay.
I think that would be a great idea.
Okay, well, so if we could do that, or we could, because there's going to be a computer science liaison, and there's also going to be the Ed Tech chair. So, yeah.
I think given the fact that you serve as chair on all the committees, and Commissioner Murphy Corwin has expressed to be chair, and the balance, I think that would be great, that Commissioner Murphy Corwin serve as chair.
Okay.
I'm also wondering if there's any other additional commissioners who are interested. Commissioner Shea, are you interested in vice chair? Okay, I know I saw that, but I was just wondering, they might not have known.
Okay.
Anyone else is interested? Okay.
Does that sound good to you, Commissioner Chow, that Commissioner Murphy Corwin?
I think that's a wonderful idea.
Okay, awesome. So, Commissioner Murphy Corwin, are you ready to chair the Ed Tech Subject Matter Committee?
Yes, I am.
Great. Thank you. Okay, and now moving on to the Ad Hoc Subject Matter Committee. We just heard from Board Member Rucker about ESSA and ED, and looks like there's work centered around the statewide system of support and assessment and accountability that Commissioner Honig kind of started, and there's more work to be done in that area. So,
So what we would do is like to change the name of the ad hoc committee to the ESSA ad hoc committee as an umbrella to be able to look at and provide guidance to the state board on all of those items that Board Member Rucker talked about, along with the statewide system of support. So it's all encompassing.
I would like to encourage Chairman Anikas to Commissioner Anikas to consider chair.
do we have any further discussion about possible chairs for the ESSA Ad Hoc Committee, Subject Matter Committee? Okay, so hearing none, Commissioner Iniguez, are you ready to chair the ESSA Ad Hoc Committee?
I am.
Great. Okay, and then we have several liaisons to appoint. We can start with computer science.
I would love to continue my work as a liaison for computer science.
Do we hear any further discussion on that? Okay, so Commissioner Chow, are you ready to continue on as computer science liaison?
I am.
Great. All right. And now we have EEI. And I know Commissioner Flores has been doing a lot of work in that area. Are there any further discussions about possible liaisons for EEI?
Actually, I know someone else is also interested, and since I'm already part of the Environmental Literacy Steering Committee, I would prefer Commissioner Munoz to take that leadership role.
Okay. Great. So, any further discussion? Okay. Commissioner Munoz, are you ready to be our EEI liaison?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. So, thank you. Perfect. So we need a liaison for the Concurrence Committee for the California Subject Matter Project. And Commissioner Naditz has shown interest in that according to the preference chart. And so has Julie Tonkovich, Commissioner Tonkovich.
Commissioner Reese, I'd like to change my preference to alternate if for the liaison.
Thank you.
Can I just make a comment? So I liaison to that group too. That group meets twice a year.
Okay.
It met Wednesday here in Sacramento, and in January it usually meets in Oakland. And it's a one-day meeting with the subject matter, the chairs of the subject matter projects across the state about how they're helping to implement our frameworks. And so, but it's twice a year, just so you know. As far as time commitment, I might be helpful depending on who wants to do that.
Thank you, Board Member Strauss. So, weighing in on that information, Commissioner Naditz, are you ready to take on the CSMP liaison role?
I would be very happy to.
Great. Okay, and we have one further important kind of role on the commission, which is the Sunshine Club. And I know Commissioner Christian has done an awesome job with that in the past, but I want to say at the end of this year, there'll be 4 commissioners terming off from the same, myself and 3 others that came on when I started. Commissioner Bramlesek, Commissioner Flores, and Commissioner Krishna. And so it's kind of awkward if you're putting together the going away cards for yourself. So it'd be awesome if there was other commissioners that might be interested in taking on this role.
I had a little bird whisper in my ear that perhaps Commissioner Renteria would really like this type of work.
Let me just sell this a little bit. One of the great parts, because I took on the, Commissioner Christian and I co-chaired, and that's another possibility, because it's nice to have a buddy. And what that entails is, you accept donations from the commission, and you just put together thoughtful things for when commissioners are going out, that kind of thing.
And I'd be happy to help you.
Okay, awesome. So sounds like Commissioner Renteria is going to help out with the Sunshine Club this year with the help of Commissioner Krishna. Awesome.
The dream team.
All right.
Okay, so now you're on page 9.
Oh, are we? Gotcha.
And you're on B. You've already done C.
Yep.
So don't get confused. You don't need to do that.
Okay.
So you're working on B.
Thank you. Okay. Members of the executive committee, let us consult the survey results and decide on who should serve on each of the committees. So let's start with English Language Arts. So I see a little number 3,
There's way too many.
which means that kind of gives an indication of the amount of work that we're looking at for that particular subject matter committee. So we probably have more than we need at this time.
Yeah.
Would anybody like to remove themselves from their preference at this time in that subject matter committee? Yeah, they're just for ELA, ELD. We'll go one at a time.
I would like to recuse myself from this meeting.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Munoz. We still have probably a little more room to have a few people.
I'll excuse myself from this committee.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Chapman. 1, 2.
We saw too many. I know.
Anybody else would like to excuse themselves from this role?
I will go ahead and excuse myself. From this.
Thank you, Commissioner Bramlesek.
Oh.
So, I mean, we could have 4. I don't know. I think we have 4.
I think you'll want to not increase because you have some subject matter committees that need 7 and have a lot of work to do. So I think you need to keep that in mind. Remember, we talked yesterday about making sure we have balance in the commissioners' work because of the amount of projects and work that we have and the homework.
Thank you. Okay. So,
Commissioner Reese, even though I'm credentialed in English and it's dear to my heart, since I am leading the VAPA, the group, I'll recuse myself.
awesome. Thank you, Commissioner Tonkovich. And we're looking for one more. No, and we're happy. Yes, I see it now. Okay. Thank you very much. So let's move on to math. It looks like we also need 3.
Okay, so I'd like to clarify, because not everybody has this in front of them who's attending our meeting,
Okay.
that for the ELA, ELD Subject Matter Committee, we have Lizette Diaz as chair, Nicole Naditz, and Alma de la Renteria as also participants in the Subject Matter Committee. Okay.
Thank you. And that would be 3. Yes, Commissioner Naditz.
Sorry, did I just, on math? Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, this is for math. I'm confused.
I clarified for English language arts.
Okay.
Now you're moving on to the Math Subject Matter Committee.
Great.
And you already have 3 commissioners that have shown preference.
And those 3 commissioners are Commissioner Chapman as chair, and then also Commissioner Munoz and Commissioner Murphy-Corwin. Okay, is everyone happy with that? Okay, let's move on to,
I believe that Commissioner Munoz, nope, never mind, I marked the wrong one. So that means you have 4, because Commissioner Krishna, Commissioner Murphy-Corwin, Commissioner Munoz, and Commissioner Chapman.
I had added myself, but if there's enough, then I can excuse myself. So it's unless.
If I can just jump in, I would recuse myself since I am taking on the chair of the computer technology from the math, if Commissioner Krishna would like to be on the math.
Okay.
Excellent.
okay, so Chapman as the chair, Commissioner Krishna,
And Commissioner Munoz.
and Commissioner Munoz. Thank you. Wonderful. Okay. So now we're moving over to history and social science, where there's several interested people. We have already determined Commissioner Krishna as chair. And now we also have interest from Commissioner Flores, Commissioner Iniguez, Commissioner Lara, Commissioner Munoz, and Commissioner Murphy-Corwin. And we're looking for 5. And, I'm sorry, I missed that. And Commissioner Tonkovich, thank you. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 interested commissioners with 5.
So I'd like to remind the commissioners for the History Social Science Subject Matter Committee, pieces that you will be working on won't happen until the end of 2018 with the Ethnic Studies Model Curriculum. So there's not a lot in between from now until, well, no, summertime, huh? 2018. May. So May 2018 is when a lot of work for the Ethnic Studies Model Curriculum will begin.
Thank you, Dr. Gregson. We're going to do that when the subject matter committee meets. So,
That committee, you have to make some decisions.
well, would anybody, would anybody like to make our life easy and remove themselves from, yes?
Yeah, I would like to help out. And feel free to remove me if that helps.
Okay, so Commissioner Iniguez is, yep, and we would need to remove one more person from this preference list. Any thoughts?
Can I make a pitch?
Sure.
Because I'm also credentialed in history, social science, and I'm only remaining on one other committee, so this would make my second. If I could please remain, if possible.
Okay. How about we just stick with the 6, even though it indicates 5? Oh, we need. That's true.
Commissioner Reese,
Yes.
even though history, social science is actually my subject area of wheelhouse, I would be fine
I appreciate that,
to recuse myself.
Commissioner Murphy-Corwin. Okay, so that leaves Commissioner Krishna as chair, Commissioner Flores, Commissioner Lara, Commissioner Munoz, and Commissioner Tonkovich. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, let's move on to science. We've determined that Commissioner Bromelsek and Commissioner Chow will co-chair Science Subject Matter Committee. We're looking for 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have more than 7 now.
I would like to remove myself.
Thank you, Commissioner Krishna. And yes, now we have 7. Our 7 are, again, co-chairs Commissioner Bromelsek and Chow, Commissioner Chapman, Commissioner Fairchild, Commissioner Flores, and myself, and Commissioner Wu. Is that, I'm not part of that vote, right? Okay. We were just discussing odds and even numbers to get these commission numbers so that they're odd for voting purposes. Okay, so I think we can move on to health. Currently, Commissioner Wu is chair. We're looking for 7 members.
Wait, if we can just go back to science for a minute.
Sure.
We're not counting you, or are we counting you? Because you're technically a
Yes,
member of
so
everything.
we were just
so we don't need to take anybody off.
discussing this. Yes.
Right?
Do we have to remove one more from each group then?
No, no, we're going to keep it as is right now.
Okay.
As is.
So we're just going to continue to go with, not counting me, the number of the.
You're fine. Science is fine.
Okay. Science is fine. But moving forward to health, are we looking to try to include 6 plus me to make 7, or?
Because right now we have 6 in science. Don't we need odd numbers?
No, you have 7 in science, and that includes Commissioner Reese.
So you want me included in that number to make it odd, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Should we go back and think about that in terms of the previous committees?
Let's keep going forward.
Okay.
And then we can look at that.
Great.
Excuse me.
Yes.
If I could, according to the bylaws, the IQC chair is a member of every committee, but not a voting member. So in the Science Subject Matter Committee, you currently have 6 voting members.
So we do need to add another one. Thank you.
Thank you, Cliff.
Can we put Commissioner Krishna back on, or wait?
Would any commissioners be interested in joining science?
Okay. So Commissioner Renteria?
Yes, I would be interested.
Okay, Commissioner Renteria is telling us that she would like to be added on to science. Thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Great. Okay. Why am I still counting 7? Who am I missing? I'm missing somebody.
I got them.
You got them all? Can you call them off for me?
So I have our co-chairs,
Yes.
Commissioner Bromelsek and Chow. We have Commissioner Chapman,
Great.
Commissioner Fairchild, Commissioner Flores, Commissioner Renteria, and Commissioner Wu.
Woo. Okay, thank you. All right, awesome. Let's move on to health now. We're looking for 7, not including myself. Yeah, let's see. So we have the chair as Wu.
No, we need one more.
True. So would anyone like to join in the fun on the Health Subject Matter Committee?
You'll get to do lots of reading.
Commissioner Bromelsack, would you be interested in joining the Health SMC?
No, I would not, but you can add me to the PE list.
Okay. Thank you. We'll take what we can get. I thought of you because of your science background. I'm not trying to pick on you. Okay. So would anybody else like to?
Commissioner Lara is interested.
Outstanding. Thank you, Commissioner Lara, for stepping up and being part of the Health Subject Matter Committee. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right. So that gives us, again, Chair Wu, and then Commissioner Krishna, Commissioner Iniguez, Commissioner Flores, Commissioner Fairchild, Commissioner Diaz, and Commissioner Bromelsack. Oh, no, that's PE. I just put these on the wrong column. Okay. Got it. Okay. Moving on to PE. We may not need 5, but right now we have Commissioner Wu as chair, and we also have interest from Commissioner Flores. And Bromelsack.
And Fairchild.
Great. Does that sound good?
That's 4. If we're going to have that, then we need 5.
Okay.
We either need 3
Sure.
or 5.
Okay. Yes,
I
Commissioner Naditz.
would be willing to be, if we need 5 rather than 3, I would be more than happy to sit on the PE committee as well.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so I'll read them off quickly. We have Chair Commissioner Wu. Chair Wu. We have also Commissioner Flores, Commissioner Fairchild, Commissioner Naditz, and Commissioner Bromelsack. Got it. Okay. Okay, moving on to Visual and Performing Arts, SMC, where we will need 7 as the standards are being developed. Right now we have Commissioner Tonkovich as chair, and we have 6 others to make a total of 7 for this SMC. So that'll be Commissioner Wu. Again, Chair Tonkovich, Commissioner Naditz, Commissioner Murphy-Corwin, Commissioner Lara, Commissioner Diaz, and Commissioner Chow. Okay, moving on to World Language, where we have Commissioner Naditz as chair. We're looking for 7. We might need more than we have in the preference chart at this time. So would anybody like to?
Commissioner Reese, could I be considered, please, for World Language?
Sure. Okay. And we would need 1 more to join in.
You can add me to World Language.
Thank you, Commissioner Bromelsack. Okay, that puts us to 7 for the World Language SMC with Commissioner Naditz as chair, and then Commissioner Bromelsack, Commissioner Chow, Commissioner Diaz, Commissioner Munoz, Commissioner Renteria, and Commissioner Tonkovich. Okay, great. Moving on to Ed Tech. We are looking for 7 because computer science standards falls into this SMC. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 9. Thank you. So we have 9 currently. So would anybody like to?
Yes, Chair Reese, you can remove me from EdTech.
Thank you, Commissioner Bromelsack. And we'll need 1 more.
You can take my name off as well.
Thank you, Commissioner Lara. And that will have Commissioner Chapman, Commissioner Chow, Commissioner Fairchild, Commissioner Iniguez, Chair, I believe Chair Murphy Corwin, and then Commissioner Naditz. And Commissioner Renteria. Thank you. Okay, and then we have the ESSA Ad Hoc Committee, where we have Commissioner Iniguez as chair. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
We can do 5.
Okay. If one person would like to remove themselves from the SMC, that would bring us to an odd number.
I'd like to remove myself, please.
Oh, and I'm already included? Uh-oh. So we might already have our number. Hold on one second here. Let me recount. I didn't. No, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're good. We can operate at 5. Yeah. Okay. You're on. Thank you, Commissioner Renteria, for being so flexible. Thank you. Okay, so that puts, let's see. So that puts, do I need to state them for the record?
No, I'm going to state them all.
Oh, okay. Awesome. I'm doing extra work. Okay. So I think that gets us through all of the members of these subject matter committees.
Okay, so to clarify and make sure we have this accurately, for our 2018 subject matter committee members, we have the executive committee with Commissioner Chow, Commissioner Diaz, Krishna, Murphy Corwin, and Commissioner Reese. For ELAELD, we have Commissioner Diaz as chair, Commissioner Naditz, and Commissioner Renteria. For math, we have Commissioner Chapman as chair, Commissioner Krishna, and Commissioner Munoz. For history social science, we have Commissioner Flores, Commissioner Krishna as chair, Commissioner Lara, Commissioner Munoz, and Commissioner Tonkovich. For science, we have co-chairs Commissioners Bromelsek and Chow. Then we have Commissioners Chapman, Fairchild, Flores, Renteria, and Wu. For health, we have Commission Chair Wu. Then we have Commissioners Lara, Krishna, Iniguez, Flores, Fairchild, and Diaz. For PE, we have Subject Matter Committee Commissioner Wu as chair. Then we have Commissioners Naditz, Flores, and Fairchild, and Bromelsek. For Visual and Performing Arts, we have Commissioner Tonkovich as chair. Then we have Commissioners Wu, Naditz, Murphy Corwin, Lara, Fairchild, Diaz, and Chow. To get my rows as I get farther away. The EdTech Subject Matter Committee, we have Commissioner Murphy Corwin as chair. Did I skip world language? All right, world language. We have Commissioner Naditz serving as chair. We then have Commissioners Tonkovich, Renteria, Munoz, Diaz, Chow, and Bromelsek. For the EdTech Subject Matter Committee, we have Commissioner Murphy Corwin as chair. Then we have Commissioners Renteria, Naditz, Iniguez, Fairchild, Chow, and Chapman. For the ESSA Ad Hoc Committee, we have Commissioner Iniguez as chair. Then we have Commissioners Bromelsek, Fairchild, Lara, and Renteria. There's your subject matter committees.
Thank you, Dr. Gregson. Okay. More work to be done for the executive committee. So our next item on the agenda is to establish new committee goals for 2018. First, let's review the goals from last year. So in 2017, goals were to ensure every member of the commission follows the Bagley-Keene Open Meeting Act, provide support for the 2017 History Social Science Instructional Materials Adoption for kindergarten through grade 8, provide support for the revision of the Health Education Framework, provide support for the development of the Computer Science, Visual and Performing Arts, and World Language Standards and Ethnic Studies Model Curriculum, provide support for the launch events, rollout plans, and professional learning activities of the Science and History Social Science Frameworks, and support for the collaboration committees work associated with the English language arts, English language development, mathematics, history, social science, and science frameworks. Ensure that the Commission's organization reflects the advisory needs of the State Board of Education. Engage and participate in a continuous improvement protocol as the IQC works through relevant curriculum and instruction issues. Our proposed 2018 goals. Again, ensure every member of the Commission follows the Bagley-Keene Open Meeting Act. Two, provide support for the 2018 science instructional materials adoption for kindergarten through grade 8. 3, provide support for the revision of the health education framework. 4, provide support for the development of the computer science, visual and performing arts, and world language standards and ethnic studies model curriculum. 5, provide support for the launch events, rollout plans, and professional learning activities of the science and history social science frameworks, and support for the Collaboration Committee's work associated with the ELA, ELD, mathematics, history, social science, and science frameworks. Ensure that the Commission's organization reflects the advisory needs of the State Board of Education. Engage and participate in a continuous improvement protocol as the IQC works through relevant curriculum and instruction issues. Remain informed on the California statewide system of support and integrate as appropriate guidance aligned with the California statewide system of support. Okay, so are there any questions or comments about the proposed goals for 2018? And are there any goals that you would like to add? Okay, so hearing none, I call for a motion to approve the 2018 goals as presented and forward them to the full commission.
I so move.
Okay. I heard Commissioner Diaz's voice. So Commissioner Diaz has moved.
I second.
And Commissioner Murphy-Corwin has seconded the motion to approve the 2018 goals as presented and forward them to the full commission. Is there any discussion on the motion? Is there any public comment on the motion? All in favor of the motion? Aye. Okay. Just anyone abstain? And all opposed? This is just as executive committee to be clear. All opposed? And anyone abstain from voting? Okay, the motion passes. Okay, so now I'd like to invite members of the public to comment on items on today's committee agenda. Is there any public comment at this time? Okay, seeing none. All right, I'm going to hand it on over to the Health SMC Chair, which is Commissioner Wu.
Okay, I call the Health Subject Matter Committee to order. The members of the Health Subject Matter Committee, nice little row down the middle here. Lizette Diaz, Commissioner Fairchild, Commissioner Flores, Commissioner Iniguez, Commissioner Krishna, Commissioner Lara, and myself. So if you are in the committee, put your thing up, otherwise put it down. Looks like you've all done that already. Okay. So our first item of business is the election of a vice chair. Only the Health Subject Matter Committee members can nominate, and all of them vote. So just us guys. So I call for nominations from the floor.
Commissioner Wu, before you get there, can I just introduce the Seaford staff that is going to, so what you saw over here on the side was staff switching around. So in front you have Constantino Silva that you met yesterday, the administrator of the Curriculum Frameworks Unit, and then Deborah Franklin, our lead. So what you'll see for every subject matter committee is the switching of my staff for the lead consultant and the manager of that unit. Okay, so just for our new commissioners.
Thank you.
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Fairchild for vice chair.
Okay. Are there any other nominations for vice chair? Okay. I close the nominations by acclamation in accordance with Robert's Rules of Order. Then Commissioner Fairchild has been, is that right? Let's make my note here. Vice chair, okay, has been nominated by Commissioner Krishna to be vice chair. Does the committee approve the nomination of Commissioner Fairchild?
Yes.
Okay, so Commissioner Fairchild is Vice Chair of the Health Subject Matter Committee. Congratulations. Our next item on the agenda is to establish new committee goals for 2018. So first, we're going to review last year's goals. The 2017 goals were to provide guidance and support for the development of the 2019 Health Education Framework for California Public Schools, kindergarten through grade 12, also called the HE Framework. Also to recommend to the State Board of Education guidelines to inform the work of the CFCC, recommend the CFCC applicants for appointment by the State Board, attend meetings of the CFCC to follow development of the draft health education framework and ensure that the guidelines are being addressed, provide input on the framework in response to requests from the CFCC, the framework writing teams, or the Curriculum Framework and Instructional Resources Division staff, and to remain informed on issues that affect curriculum, assessment, professional learning, and instructional materials in health education. I am pleased to report that we met our 2017 goals. In January, we recommend, this month here, we recommend to the State Board of Education, oh, sorry, no, that was back then. We recommended to the State Board of Education 20 individuals to serve as the Health Education CFCC members and the guidelines for their work on developing the revised health education framework. In March, the State Board appointed those CFCC members and approved the guidelines that we had recommended. Members of this subject matter committee and other commissioners attended 5 CFCC meetings, and there's an additional one this month, and provided additional guidance to the CFCC members. So we've got just the one health education CFCC meeting left this month. It is the 25th and 26th, Thursday and Friday. And so very soon, the draft health education framework will be in our hands. So the proposed 2018 goals, I recommend that the committee establish the following goals. First, to provide ongoing guidance and support for the development of the 2019 Health Education Framework for California Public Schools, kindergarten through grade 12. Second, to review and edit the HECFCC draft framework in preparation for its first 60-day public review and comment period. To take action in March of 2018 to send out the draft framework for its first 60-day public review and comment period. Fourth, to analyze the public review and comment period survey results and propose edits to the draft framework to address the public comment. 5, to work with the Seaford staff to prepare the draft framework for its second 60-day public review and comment period. 6, to take action in September of 2018 to send out the draft framework for its second 60-day public review and comment period. 7, to provide input on the framework in response to requests from the framework writing team or the Seaford staff. 8, to remain informed on issues that affect curriculum, assessment, professional learning, and instructional materials in health education. And finally, 9, to remain informed on the California statewide system of support and integrate as appropriate guidance along with that California statewide system of support. So for my committee, are there any other goals that you would like to add? Nope, okay. I call for a motion to approve the 2018 goals as presented and forward them to the full committee.
I so move.
I second.
Who seconded? Okay, so Commissioner Lara has moved and Commissioner Diaz has seconded the motion to approve the 2018 goals. Oh, I'm sorry, I was not, okay, Iniguez. They're both Jose's and you're both in my line of sight there. Sorry, my bad. Commissioner Iniguez has moved and Commissioner Diaz has seconded the motion to approve the 2018 goals and forward them to the full commission. Is there any discussion on this motion? Okay, hearing none. Is there any public comment on the motion? Okay, all in favor of the motion? Aye. Okay, anyone abstained? No, motion passes. I would like to invite public comment on items from today's committee agenda. Okay. Hearing none, I close the meeting of the Health Subject Matter Committee. Thank you.
Okay, I call to order the Science SMC. This would include Commissioner Chapman, Commissioner Chow, Commissioner Fairchild, Commissioner Flores, is that correct? Commissioner Krishna, and Commissioner Wu. No. What did I?
Not Krishna.
Okay, I apologize. Commissioner Renteria and Commissioner Wu. Let me fix my. Okay. The members of the those are the members of the 2018 Science SMC. If you're a member of the Science SMC, please put up your nameplate. If you are not a member, please turn your nameplate down. As we have two co-chairs, I am proposing that we forego the nomination of a vice chair. Any objections from the committee? Okay, hearing none, then we have co-chairs of Commissioner Bromelsek and Commissioner Chow by acclamation and Robert's Rules of Order. Does that satisfy? Yeah, okay. Then our next step is to establish our next item on the agenda is to establish the new committee goals for 2018. First, let's review the goals from last year. Number 1, begin work on the 2018 Science Instructional Materials Adoption. Number 2, continue to support the California Next Generation Content Standards for California Public Schools. The rollout meetings, Phase 4, focuses on the 2016 California Science Framework. Number 3, support the implementation of the Science Framework for the California Public Schools, kindergarten through grade 12. Number 4, remain informed on issues that affect curriculum assessment, professional learning, and instructional materials in science education, including the California NGSS, the Common Core State Standard Strand for Literacy and History and Social Science, Science and Technical Subjects, and the EEI, which is the Education and Environment Initiative. The proposed goals for 2018 are, number 1, participate fully in the 2018 Science Instructional Materials Adoption. Number 2, continue to support the implementation of the California Science Framework. Number 3, remain informed on issues that affect curriculum assessment, professional learning, and instructional materials in science education, including the California NGSS, the CCSS Strand for Literacy and History, Social Studies, Science and Technical Subjects, and the EEI. Number 4, remain informed of the California statewide system of support. Here it says CAS3, is it not CAS4? It's still 3? Okay, CAS3, and integrate as appropriate guidance aligned with the CAS3.
The 3 goes for statewide system and support, that's right.
Yeah, I thought there was a new one. I apologize, yeah. Okay, I would like to ask, are there any questions or comments about our proposed goals for 2018? Okay, hearing none, I call for a motion to approve the 2018 goals.
So move.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Chow. No, who was it? Oh, Fairchild. Commissioner Fairchild has moved the commission, and then the second was by Commissioner Renteria? Renteria. I'll get that. Has seconded a motion to approve the 2018 goals. Is there any discussion on this motion? Okay. Is there any public comment? Okay, hearing none, I call for a vote. All in favor of the motion? Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes. Okay, the next item on the agenda is I need to introduce Cliff Rudnick. Yes. Who is the Science Instructional Materials Adoption Update. He's going to provide an update for us.
Good morning. Again, I'm Cliff Rudnick. I'm the administrator for the Instructional Resources Unit in the CPR Division. Thank you for letting me speak to you this morning. Yeah, it's on. Am I not close enough to it? Is that better? Okay. As we say in music, eat the mic. So I'm here to provide an update on the upcoming activities for the 2018 Science Instructional Materials Adoption. I appreciate your time. I'm going to talk a little bit about some key dates. I'm also going to talk about some activities that will include some and activities that will include all of the Instructional Quality Commission. So the first big date coming up at the end of this month on the 30th, we will hold our invitation to submit meeting. It will actually be in this room this year. For those who were here for the last adoption and we did it across the street in the big auditorium, we're going to be in this room this year on the 30th. And we invite, for those who don't know, we invite publishers who are interested in participating in the adoption to come in, and we walk them through the process, including the criteria, not in detail like we do at the training, just where they are. At this point, our publishers are very, very familiar with the criteria because they've been developing the programs. Then you can see that we will have on February 12th the invitation forms that they're going to send in saying that they will participate. Based on those submissions, we'll be able to know the number of panels needed for the adoption, and we'll be able to assign reviewers and facilitators to those panels. Following that, they'll actually give us the component list for each of their programs so that we know what types of materials reviewers and panels can expect. As Dr. Griegson mentioned during your orientation, this can range everywhere, anywhere from a login for an online program to pallets of printed materials. So again, as I believe it was Board Member Rucker or Board Member Strauss stated, you may want to consider having these delivered to your school site and not necessarily your home, unless you want to lose your kitchen or your dining room or other things. For those who've done a dissertation, it's kind of the same thing. You end up losing a room of your house for a period of time. The actual reviewer training in which many of you will participate is April 16th through the 20th at the Doubletree Hotel, which is where we did the History Social Science adoption last year. And then the samples from the actual submissions from the publishers will be due immediately following that. And then the independent review will take place. As commissioners, you will have an opportunity, if you so choose, to have any or all materials also sent to you. Even though you are not a reviewer, you are facilitating the panel review. They will reconvene in July, again on the 16th through the 20th, back at the Doubletree Hotel for the deliberations process. As you know, that's a very active process, includes public comment twice daily and a lot of activity that occurs. For those who are sitting either as the IQC chair, the SMC, in this case, co-chairs, as well as Dr. Gregson, Dr. Boyd, who's leading the adoption, and myself will be in a control room, so we will be there to support all panels during this process. In August, I believe it's the 13th, we will hold the public comment meeting in this room again. At that time, we invite the public to comment on what occurred during the deliberations process. It's not a dialogue. You will, as commissioners, we will ask one or more of you to be here to listen to the public comment. In September is when those the reports of findings from each panel will be brought before you. As a facilitator, you will present your panel's report to the full commission. You will have a discussion and you will make a recommendation to the State Board of Education, who will act on your recommendation in November. And they'll hold a public hearing at that meeting prior to taking their action. Okay, are there any questions about those dates before I move into some of the detail? Because I want to talk about, first of all, the March 22nd, 23rd IQC meeting. We're going to do something a little different because we haven't done this in previous adoptions. In previous adoptions, those who were available to be facilitators for panels went through a facilitator training and were trained on the criteria. Unfortunately, those who were not participating as a facilitator on a panel were not trained on the criteria, yet were expected, since you were part of the framework development, which includes the criteria, to be very knowledgeable and have a discussion in September about whether or not programs met the criteria when you didn't participate in the facilitator training. So at your March 22nd, 23rd meeting, I will hold essentially a smaller criteria training for the full commission. Those who can participate as facilitators will still go through a facilitator training separate, but we want to ensure that all IQC members have an opportunity to become familiar with the criteria before your September discussion. Okay. The other thing I want folks to be aware of is, as you recall, from your minutes that you just approved at the beginning of today's meeting, at your last meeting, you did recommend to the State Board of Education reviewers and facilitators, including many of your colleagues, to serve as for that adoption. I need to do two things. One, I need to confirm with those who were named on that list that you are still available to serve for the adoption, including all the dates for the training and all the dates for the deliberations. So if you refer to your minutes, because I do not have those minutes in front of me, I believe it actually says who you are. So if you are on that list and you are not, you don't have to do it in this public forum. If you are on that list and something has changed and you are not able to participate as a facilitator, can you please let Dr. Gregson know and myself soon. The second order of business, as you recall from that motion, we included the unnamed to be appointed commissioners who are now here. So I need to find out if any of the new commissioners have a desire to and are available to serve as a facilitator for the 2018 Science Instructional Materials Adoption. Again, the dates you would need to be available are April 16th through 20th and July 16th through 20th. Okay? I happen to know that one of our new commissioners already has those dates free because she was appointed by you last month to be a reviewer before she was appointed to the Instructional Quality Commission. So I will leave it up to Chair Reese to ask those questions or Executive Director Gregson, and I will take notes.
What do you think, Commissioner Fairchild?
Yes, I'm available. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay. Okay, so let's start with Commissioner Munoz. Would you be available to help us out with instructional materials adoption, the review, and the facilitation?
Yes, I'm available.
Thank you. So let's see.
I'll take notes.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Renteria.
I'm looking at my boss. I think I'm available.
Okay. Are you aware? You're aware of the dates?
Yes.
There's a week in April and there's a week in July.
July, yes. April.
Right, so you have to be available for both.
So yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I will.
Okay. We've already heard from Commissioner Fairchild. Commissioner Lara? I'm not available. Not available, okay. And Commissioner Chapman?
Yes, I'm available.
Thank you. Wonderful.
It's a great experience. It really is.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Okay, so that being said, I don't believe I have anything else to update you. I look forward to continue working with those of you I have been, and look forward to working with the new folks as well. As Dr. Gregson said, it's actually a pretty remarkable experience, and we're going to take a one-year break after science in 2019, and in 2020 we're going to come back with the health adoption, so be ready.
Thank you, Cliff. How about we take, sorry, Commissioner Bromlesek? Sorry.
Okay, thank you very much. And at this point, I'd like to see if there's any public comment on these items before the committee. Okay, hearing none, then I will close the meeting of the Science SMC.
Thank you, Commissioner Bromlesek. So before we get into the History Social Science SMC, let's go ahead and take a 15-minute break and come back at, 11 o'clock? And yeah, thank you. Okay, everybody, we need to continue on and resume our meeting. So it is time for the History, Social Science, SM Subject Matter Committee meeting to convene.
Good morning, everyone. My apologies for the delay. I call the History Social Science meeting to order. The members of the 2018 History Social Science SMC are Jose Flores, Jose Lara, Yolanda Munoz, and Julie Tonkovich. Thank you, commissioners, for serving on this committee. The SMC Seaford staff to the History Social Science are Dr. McDonald and Mr. Rudnick. Yes? Is it Dr. Rudnick? Sorry. Okay. Okay, election of the vice chair. This is my first time doing this, so thank you for being patient. HSS SMC chair. Okay, our first item of business is the election of vice chair. Are there any nominations for the vice chair?
I would like to nominate Commissioner Flores.
Any other nominations? I now close the nominations. Does the SMC approve the nomination of Commissioner Flores as vice chair?
So go up and you'll see by acclamation because you only have one nominee.
Okay, thank you. By acclamation, in accordance with Robert's Rules of Order, Commissioner Commissioner Flores has been nominated by Commissioner Reese to be vice chair of the History Social Science SMC. Does the SMC approve the nomination of Commissioner Flores? It doesn't say all, say an aye. Is this the part I say that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Following are the goals for 2018. Our next agenda item is to establish these goals. As you may remember, our main project for the last year was the completion of the History Social Science adoption. Our 2017 goals were to continue the support of publication and rollout of the History Social Science framework, complete the 2017 History Social Science instructional materials adoption, including the training of reviewers in April, the facilitation of review panels in July, and the recommendation of programs to the State Board Education SBE in September. Remain informed on issues that affect curriculum, assessment, professional learning, and instructional materials in history, social science, including the California Common Core State Standards and literacy in history, social science studies, and technical subject in the education and the environment initiative. The proposed goals for 2018 are, number one, continue to support the implementation of the 2016 History Social Science Framework and the 2017 History Social Science adoption. Number two, begin on the 2020 Ethnic Studies Model Curriculum, including the recommendation of a timeline, advisory committee application, and guideline to the SBE. Review the applications and recommend advisory committee members to the SBE. Number three, remain informed on issues that affect curriculum, assessment, professional learning, and instructional materials in history, social science. Number four, remain informed on the California statewide system of support, CAS3, and integrate an appropriate guidance aligned with the CAS3. Are there any comments or discussions for the proposed goals of 2018? Are there any goals that you would like to add? Commissioners? Okay. I call for a motion to approve the 2018 goals as presented and forward them to the full Instructional Quality Commission.
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Lara has moved.
I second.
Thank you, Commissioner Tonkovich. Is there any discussion on the motion? Is there any public comment on the motion? All in favor? Please say aye.
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 The motion passes. Is there any other public comment on today's committee agenda? Thank you. This concludes the History Social Science Committee. Oh, and I forgot to put my name tag up for my moment of fame. Jeez, Dad, sorry. Oh well, next time.
I call the Education Technology Committee to order. The members of the 2018 Educational Technology are Commissioner Chapman, Commissioner Chow, Commissioner Fairchild, Commissioner Iniguez, Commissioner Naditz, and Commissioner Renteria. I also want to welcome the Seaford staff to the committee. Ms. or Dr. Owsley Swank and Mr. or Dr. Rudnick. Our first item of business is the election of a vice chair. Please note, only Educational Technology Committee members can nominate vice chair candidates, and all committee members, including the chair, do vote. I call for nominations from the floor. I would like to nominate Chairman Chow for vice chair.
Thank you.
Are there any other nominations? Then by acclamation, in accordance with the Roberts Rules of Order, Commissioner Chow has been nominated by Commissioner Murphy-Corwin to be vice chair of the Educational Technology Committee. Does the committee approve the nomination of Commissioner Chow?
Yes.
Then I congratulate and I welcome Commissioner Chow as co-chair.
Thank you so much.
The next order of business is the establishment of goals for 2018. First, let's review the goals from last year. So in 2017, the goals were to remain informed and participate as appropriate in the development of the computer science standards for California schools, kindergarten through grade 12, the California content standards, remain informed on issues that affect education technology as it relates to enhancing student achievement, support the implementation of the California content standards, frameworks, and statewide assessments through effective use of education technology. For 2018, our proposed goals are provide ongoing guidance and support for the development of the California content standards, review and edit the Computer Science Standards Advisory Committee draft standards in preparation for the 60-day public review and comment period, remain informed on issues that affect education technology as it relates to enhancing student achievement, continue to support the implementation of the California content standards, frameworks, and statewide assessments through effective use of education technology, take action in March 2018
to send out the draft standards for the 60-day public review and comment period. Analyze the public review and comment period survey results and propose edits to the draft standards to address public comment. Take action in July 2018 to recommend the draft standards to the State Board of Education. And finally, to remain informed on the California statewide system of support, which is the CAS3, and integrate as appropriate guidance aligned with the California S3. Are there any questions or comments from the committee about the goals for 2018? Are there any other goals anyone on the committee would like to add? Then I call for a motion to approve the 2018 goals as presented and forward them to the full commission.
So moved.
Second.
And Commissioner Renteria has moved, and Commissioner Fairchild has seconded the motion to approve the 2018 goals as presented and forward them to the full commission. Is there any discussion on the motion? Is there any public comment of the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please signify.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passes. And I invite any public comment on items on today's agenda. Seeing none, I thank you and close the meeting of the Education Technology Committee.
I call the Visual and Performing Arts Subject Matter Committee to order. The members of the 2018 VAPA SMC are myself, Commissioner Chow, Commissioner Diaz, Commissioner Lara, Commissioner Murphy-Corwin, Commissioner Naditz, and Commissioner Wu. If you're a member of the VAPA SMC, please put your nameplate up, and if you're not a member, please turn your nameplate down. Our first item of business is the election of a vice chair for this subcommittee. I call for nominations from the floor.
I nominate Commissioner Murphy-Corwin.
I second.
Since only one person is, are there any other nominations? By acclamation, in accordance with Robert Rules of Order, Commissioner Murphy-Corwin has been nominated. Commissioner Naditz. Does SMC approve the nomination of Commissioner Murphy-Corwin? Yes. Okay. Commissioner Murphy-Corwin has been elected Vice Chair of the VAPA SMC. Our next item on the agenda is to establish new committee goals for 2018. First, let's review the goals from last year. From 2017, 1, provide guidance and support for the 2018 revision of California's VAPA Standards Project, including attending, if possible, one of the focus group meetings. 2, review and approve the recommended guidelines based on the comments received from the focus group members and the public. 3, recommend the guidance document to the State Board of Education for final approval and use by the VAPA Standards Advisory Committee. Approve the draft, the draft of the SAC member application and support the recruitment of qualified candidates. Review and recommend qualified applicants for final approval by the State Board of Education. Attend one or more VAPA Standard Advisory Committee meetings, 2 of which will be held in October and December of this year. Remain informed on issues that affect curriculum, assessment, professional learning, and instructional materials in VAPA education. The proposed goals for 2018, 1, provide guidance and support for the 2018 revision of California's VAPA Standards Project to include attending, if possible, one of the VAPA SAC meetings. B, review and post a draft of the revised VAPA standards for a 60-day field review and feedback. And C, analyze the field review results and revise VAPA standards and recommend the draft revised standards to the State Board of Education. 2, provide guidance and support for the 2020 revision of California's VAPA Framework project to include A, attend if possible one of the 2020 VAPA Framework focus group meetings, B, recommend the 2020 VAPA Framework revision guidance document to the State Board of Education for final approval and use by the CFCC, approve the draft CFCC member application and support the recruitment of qualified candidates, review and recommend qualified CFCC applicants for final approval by the State Board of Education. 3, remained informed on issues that affect curriculum, assessment, professional learning, and instructional materials in VAPA education. 4, remain informed on the California statewide system of support and integrate as appropriate guidance aligned with the CAS3. So let's open for discussion. Are there any questions or comments about the goals for 2018? Are there any other goals you'd want to add? I'd like to throw out to the committee one thing that I might like to suggest considering. Number 3, something that was emerging in the VAPA education. Do you see where it says this is just remaining informed on issues. Remain informed on issues, curriculum assessment, professional learning, instructional materials, and I would like to think about adding the use of technology in the VAPA classroom because that is really becoming an important thing for our teachers to integrate. So I don't know if that would just be in the list, instructional materials, comma, and technology, because this is just, as I said, remaining informed.
Chairman Tonkovich, I think that's an excellent addition. I would ask if a motion is needed to change the goal.
Do I have a?
Or do we just?
No, so when you're going through your motion, instead of as presented, you say as amended.
Oh, okay, thank you. So if there's no more discussion, I call for a motion to amend the 2018 goals and forward them to the full commission. Who has moved? Could I have a motion?
I so move.
Thank you, Commissioner Wu.
I second.
Thank you, Commissioner Murphy-Corwin, who has seconded the motion to approve the 2018 goals as amended and forward them to the full commission. Are there any discussion on this motion? Any public comments on this motion?
Commissioner Tonkovich, can I have you slow down just a little bit?
Sorry.
Kind of went through that really fast. I want to make sure that the other subject matter committee members didn't have anything else they wanted to add to the goals or any other discussion.
Subject matter committee members, are there anything else that you would like to add to our 2018 goals?
Nothing to add, but would you mind rereading the revision, again, maybe that sentence?
All right, well, I know that some of the members are really good with this because I thought it was a bit awkward myself, including just the comma and technology. So what I was wondering was, if we did number 3 as remain informed on issues that affect curriculum, assessment, and professional learning, semicolon, and instructional materials and technology in VAPA education. Or I'm not sure, how would you like to phrase that?
I'm going to have a similar amendment request in mind, and what I was looking at was saying remain informed on issues that affect curriculum, assessment, professional learning, instructional materials, comma, and the use of education technology in VAPA education.
Okay, all that sounds good to me. Committee members.
I like it.
And is there any further discussion? And public comment? All in favor of the motion? Aye. Any opposed?
Wait.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You have to back up. You have to call for a motion. You haven't called for a motion yet. So if you're on page 40.
I thought the motion was Commissioner Wu moved and Commissioner Murphy seconded. Oh, because we amended again. I see.
So you have to
All right. So for the new amendment, I call for a motion to approve the 2018 goals as amended and forward them to the full commission.
Moved.
Commissioner Wu has moved.
Seconded.
And Commissioner Murphy-Corin has seconded the motion to approve the 2018 goals as amended and forward them to the full commission. Is there any further discussion? Any public comment? All in favor of the motion? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passes. Are there any, this is time for public comment on items in today's committee agenda. Is there anyone from the public that would like to make a comment today? If none, I close the meeting of the VAPA Subject Matter Committee.
Okay. I would like to call the World Language Subject Matter Committee to order. The members of the 2018 World Language Subject Matter Committee are Commissioner Balmosek, Commissioner Chow, Commissioner Diaz, Commissioner Munoz, myself, and Commissioner Renteria. Oh, excuse me, and also Commissioner Tonkovich. Thank you so much. If you are a member of the World Language Subject Matter Committee, please put your nameplate up. If you are not a member, please turn your nameplate down. I'd also like to welcome our Seaford staff, Alejandro Hernandez, a consultant in world languages, and Cliff Rudnick. Our first item of business is the election of a vice chair. As with the other subject matter committees, only World Language Subject Matter Committee members can nominate vice chair candidates, and all World Language Subject Matter Committee members, including the chair, vote. So I would like to call for nominations from the floor.
I would like to nominate Commissioner Diaz.
Thank you. Thank you. Are there any other nominations? Okay. I now close the, I don't think so. Yeah, I now close the nominations. By acclamation, in accordance with Robert's Rules of Order, Commissioner Diaz has been nominated by Chair Reese to be Vice Chair of the World Language Subject Matter Committee. Does the Subject Matter Committee approve the nomination of Commissioner Diaz? Aye. Congratulations, Commissioner Diaz is Vice Chair of the World Language Subject Matter Committee. Our next item on the agenda is to establish new committee goals for 2018. First, let's review the goals from last year. The goals for 2017 were, number 1, provide guidance and support for the 2018 revision of California's World Language Standards Project, including attending, if possible, one of the focus group meetings and one or more SAC meetings, 2 of which will be held in October, November of this year. Remember, these are last year's goals. Remain informed. Number 2, remain informed on issues that affect curriculum, assessment, professional learning, and instructional materials in world language education. Number 3, remain informed on student attainment of and support programs that provide pathways to the California Seal of Biliteracy through the implementation of all California content standards. The proposed goals for 2018. Number 1, provide guidance and support for the 2018 revision of California's World Language Standards Project to include A, attending, if possible, one of the World Language Standards Advisory Committee meetings, B, review and post a draft of the revised World Language Standards for 60-day field review and feedback, C, analyze the field review results and revised World Language Standards and recommend the draft revised standards to the State Board of Education. Number 2, provide guidance and support for the 2020 revision of California's World Language Framework Project to include A, attend, if possible, one of the 2020 World Language Framework Focus Group meetings. B, recommend the 2020 World Language Framework Revision Guidance document to the State Board of Education for final approval and use by the Curriculum Framework and Evaluation Criteria Committee. C, approve the draft CFCC member application and support the recruitment of qualified candidates. And D, review and recommend qualified CFCC applicants for final approval by the State Board of Education. 3, remain informed on issues that affect curriculum, assessment, professional learning, and instructional materials in world language education. And 4, remain informed on the statewide system of support, CAS3, and integrate, as appropriate, guidance aligned with the CAS3. Are there any questions or comments about the proposed goals for 2018? Are there any goals that you would like to add?
I recommend that we parallel the goal 3 to add the language that we just did with the BAPA.
Would you like me to repeat it in this one for you? Yes. So I agree as well, especially with world languages. The classes are using it to communicate across time zones and continents and so on. So it would read as follows: remain informed on issues that affect curriculum, assessment, professional learning, instructional materials, and the use of educational technology in world language education. Thank you. Are there any other goals the committee would like to consider? Okay. I call for a motion to approve the 2018 goals as amended and forward them to the full commission.
Moved.
It has been, Commissioner Tonkovich has moved and Commissioner Munoz has seconded the motion to approve the 2018 goals as amended and forward them to the full commission. Is there any discussion on the motion? Oh, I'm so sorry. I saw the wrong name go up.
I moved.
Oh, excuse me. I'll restate that. It has been moved by Commissioner Renteria and seconded by Munoz. Okay, and seconded by Munoz to approve the 2018 goals as amended and forward them to the full commission. Thank you for that correction. Is there any discussion on the motion? Is there any public comment on the motion? All in favor of the motion? Aye. Any opposed? Anyone abstaining from voting? Okay, the motion passes. At this time, we would like to invite members of the public to comment on items on today's committee agenda. Are there any members of the public who'd like to do so? Okay. At this time, I close the meeting of the World Language SMC.
Okay, I would like to call the ELA-ELD meeting to order. The members of the 2018 ELA-ELD SMC are Commissioner Naditz and Commissioner Renteria. Would the members of the committee please put your nameplate up, and if you are not a member, please turn your nameplate down. Our first order of business is to elect a vice chair. I call for a motion, nominations from the floor.
I nominate Commissioner Naditz as vice chair.
Okay. Commissioner Renteria has nominated Commissioner Naditz as vice chair for the ELA-ELD Subject Matter Committee. Do I have any other nominations? There's only 3. It's kind of like we nominate each other and then we vote. We could duke it out. Okay. I'm not hearing a second nomination for a vice chair, so by order of acclamation, we are voting for Commissioner Naditz as vice chair. Do I hear a motion? Oh, I don't need one. Oh, it's just acclamation. All right. Okay. Well, then that's it. Congratulations. That was a tough. Do you approve the nomination?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, so Commissioner Naditz has been elected vice chair of the ELA-ELD Subject Matter Committee. Our next order is to establish new committee goals for 2018, but before we do that, we're gonna review last year's goals. So we're gonna review our 2017 goals. Number 1, continue to provide guidance and support for the implementation of the 2014 ELA-ELD framework. Number 2, continue to participate in and support the launch events and rollout plans for the 2014 ELA-ELD framework. 3, continue to support the implementation California Common Core State Standards for ELA literacy and the California ELD standards, including emphasizing the difference between integrated and designated ELD instruction. Number 4, continue to provide guidance and support for the implementation of the 2015 ELA-ELD instructional materials. And 5, remain informed on issues that affect curriculum, assessment, professional development, and instructional materials in ELA-ELD. Next step is to review our proposed 2018 goals. 1, continue to provide guidance and support for the implementation of the 2014 ELA-ELD framework. 2, continue to support and attend, if possible, one of the presentations scheduled in February through March 2018 on a collection of resources aligned to the guidance of the ELA-ELD framework. The California Teachers Association event February 3rd in San Jose, California Teachers Association event March 17th in Orange County, California Association for Bilingual Education March 28th in Sacramento. Number 3, continue to support the implementation of the California Common Core State Standards for ELA literacy and the California ELD standards, including emphasizing the difference between integrated and designated ELD instruction. Number 4, continue to provide guidance and support for the implementation of the 2015 ELA-ELD instructional materials. 5, remain informed on issues that affect curriculum, assessment, professional learning, and instructional materials in ELA-ELD. 6, remain informed on the California statewide system of support and integrate as appropriate guidance aligned with the CAS3. Are there any questions or comments about the proposed goals for 2018? Okay. Are there any other goals that you would like to add? Okay. Hearing none, I would like to move for an action to approve the 2018 goals. I call for a motion to approve the 2018 goals.
So moved.
Second.
And forward them to the full commission. So Commissioner Naditz has moved and Commissioner Renteria has seconded the motion to approve the 2018 goals as presented and forward them to the full commission. Is there any discussion on the motion? Is there any public comment on the motion? All right, seeing none and hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Any abstain? The motion passes. At this time, we would like to invite public comment on items on today's agenda piece on ELA-ELD. Any public comment? Okay, seeing none and hearing none. Math. We move to math.
I call the Mathematics Subject Matter Committee to order. The members of the 2018 Mathematics SMC are Commissioner Krishna and Commissioner Murphy-Corin. If you are not a member of the Mathematics SMC, please put your nameplate down. Okay. I'd also like to welcome our
Hold on a second. Oh. Is it Munoz? It's Munoz.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I had Munoz crossed off and Murphy-Corin. I apologize. Welcome, Commissioner Munoz. Okay. At this time, I also like to welcome our Seaford staff to the Mathematics SMC. They are Lisa Grant, consultant, and Constantino Silva, administrator. At this time, we need to take action on the election of our vice chair for our first order of business. I call for nominations from the floor.
I would like to nominate Commissioner Munoz.
Any other nominations? Okay, by acclamation and in accordance with Robert's Rules of Order, Commissioner Munoz has been nominated by Commissioner Krishna to be the vice chair of the Mathematics SMC. Does the SMC approve the nomination of Commissioner Munoz? Aye. Okay. Our next item on the agenda is to establish a new committee goals for 2018, but first, let's review the goals for the last year. Number 1, remain informed and provide guidance on issues that affect curriculum, assessment, professional learning, and instructional materials in mathematics. Number 2, become informed, address issues that impact the implementation of the California Common Core State Standards for Mathematics at the elementary, middle school, and high school levels. Number 3, support professional learning activities related to the mathematics framework, assessment, and instructional strategies which support the implementation of the California Common Core State Standards for Mathematics. Number 4, if funding becomes available, provide guidance and support for the work of revising the 2013 mathematics framework for California public schools, kindergarten through grade 12. Number 5, recommend to the State Board of Education the timeline for the development of the 2020 mathematics framework and the application for the curriculum framework and evaluation criteria committee. Number 6, become informed as to the implications of the status of high school students who do not take 3 years of mathematics and their performance on the 11th grade Smarter Balanced Mathematics test. Our proposed 2018 goals are: number 1, remain informed and provide guidance on issues that affect curriculum, assessment, professional learning, and instructional materials in mathematics. Number 2, become informed and address issues that impact the implementation of the California Common Core state standards for mathematics at the elementary, middle school, and high schools. Number 3, continue to support professional learning activities related to the mathematics framework, assessment, and instructional strategies which support the implementation of the California Common Core state standards for mathematics. Number 4, if funding becomes available, provide guidance and support for the work of revising the 2013 mathematics frameworks for the California public schools, kindergarten through grade 12. Number 5, recommend to the State Board of Education the timeline of the development of the 2020 mathematics framework and the application for the curriculum framework and evaluation criteria committee. Number 6, become informed as to the implications of the status of high school students who do not take 3 years of mathematics and their performance on the 11th grade Smarter Balanced Mathematics test. And number 7, remain informed on the California statewide system of support and integrate as appropriate guidance aligned with the CAS-3. Are there any questions or comments about the proposed goals for 2018? Are there any other goals that you want to add? Yes.
We would like to make a correction. Here we go. Yeah, we would just like to make a correction that it's the 2021 mathematics framework.
Their framework is 2021, not
Okay.
2020.
2021.
number 5.
Gotcha. Are there any other changes or additions to the 2018 goals? Okay. At this time, I call for a motion to approve the amended 2018 goals and forward them to the commission.
I make a motion to approve the amended.
And a second?
I second.
Thank you. Commissioner Krishna has moved and Commissioner Munoz has seconded the motion to approve the amended 2018 goals and forward them to the full commission. Is there any discussion on the motion? Is there any public comment on the motion? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion passes. At this time, if there are any other public comments on items on today's committee agenda? Okay, if none, we will close the meeting of the Math SMC.
Nice job, Commissioner Chapman. Okay, now it's time for a PE.
All right. I call the Physical Education Subject Matter Committee to order. The members of the PE SMC are Commissioner Brommelcheck, Commissioner Fairchild, Commissioner Flores, Commissioner Naditz, and myself. Oh, yeah, thank you. So put your nameplates up if you are on the commission or on the committee, please. All right, so our first item of business is the election of a vice chair. Again, this is just for the committee members. I call for nominations from the floor. Nobody wants to be vice chair.
I nominate Commissioner Fairchild.
Ah. Are you okay with that, Commissioner Fairchild? Okay. Anyone else? All right, I'll close the nominations. By acclamation, in accordance with Robert's Rules of Order, Commissioner Commissioner Fairchild has been nominated by Commissioner Naditz to be Vice Chair of the Physical Education Subject Matter Committee. Does the Subject Matter Committee approve? Yes. Okay. Commissioner Fairchild, I guess we're going to be working together a lot this year. She is the Vice Chair of the Physical Education Subject Matter Committee. Cross that part out. Okay. Our next item on the agenda is to establish our new committee goals for 2018. So first we'll review the very short goals from 2017, which were to first remain informed on issues that affect curriculum, assessment, and professional learning for physical education, and then two, to remain informed on and support the development of the 2019 Health Education Framework. Our proposed 2018 goals are, similarly, 1, to remain informed on issues that affect curriculum, assessment, and professional learning for physical education. 2, to remain informed and support the development of the 2019 Health Education Framework. And 3, to remain informed on the California statewide system of support and integrate as appropriate guidance aligned with the CAS 3. Are there any questions or comments about the goal for 2018 or any other goals we want to add? Hearing none, I call for a motion to approve the 2018 goals as presented and forward them to the full commission.
I so move.
Okay, Commissioner Bommelcheck has moved.
Second.
Okay. So Commissioner Bommelcheck has moved and Commissioner Naditz has seconded the motion to approve the 2018 goals as presented and forward them to the full commission. Is there any discussion on the motion? Public comment? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Anyone abstaining? Okay, the motion passes. I invite public comment on this or on any of our agenda. No, it's hearing none. I close the meeting of the PE Subject Matter Committee.
I call the ESSA Ad Hoc Committee to order. Members of the 2018 ESSA Ad Hoc Committee are Commissioners Renteria, Lara, Fairchild, and Bromlichek. Okay. If you're a member of the Ad Hoc Committee, please put your nameplate up. If you're not a member, please turn your nameplate down. Our first item of business is the election of a vice chair. I call for nominations from the floor.
I would like to nominate Ms. Renteria.
I'd like to nominate Commissioner Lara.
I see how this.
I do not accept. I do not accept.
All right. So before I move, I just want to make sure, are there any more nominations? This is going to be interesting. Okay. Seeing none. Because there are more than one nomination, we will hold an election by vote.
Oh, no, I do not accept the nomination. Yes, there's only one.
My apologies. Okay. All right. So with that correction, apologies, by acclamation and in accordance with Robert's Rules of Order, Commissioner Lara has nominated Commissioner Renteria to be Vice Chair of the Ad Hoc Committee. Does the committee approve the nomination of Commissioner Renteria?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Renteria is the Vice Chair of the Ad Hoc Committee.
Thank you.
Okay, so our next item on the agenda is to establish committee goals for 2018. Of note, this being a new ad hoc committee, we need to establish some goals for this year. And at this moment, I will open this up to the subject matter committee to propose some goals. I'd like to take a stab at an initial goal. And that would be the following before I open it up. And now just bear with me here because, as you saw, we didn't really have much time after the nominations of the subject matter chair. So here's my first stab at it. I'll go a little slow in case we're writing it down. Remain informed and provide guidance to the State Board of Education on how the elements within the California Every Student Succeeds Act impacts curriculum frameworks. It's just a first stab.
Would you mind repeating it, please?
Absolutely. As I play with my glasses here. Remain informed and provide guidance to the State Board of Education on how the elements within the California Every Student Succeeds Act impacts curriculum frameworks. Looking around at my fellow commissioners, I don't see any head nodding or nods of disapproval. So this puts me in an awkward situation because usually we have this scripted, and so we're creating, so thank you. So we're creating a goals as we go. So I'm going to assume that what's appropriate at this time.
One suggestion is since this body deals with both curriculum frameworks and standards, if we're going to include curriculum frameworks, we might also include content standards.
You might want to just have a general curriculum and instruction.
Yes.
Which, correct me if I'm wrong, if we modify that to read curriculum instruction would include frameworks within that, okay? So I'm going to reread that in a second.
Okay.
All right, so based on those suggestions, it would read, remain informed and provide guidance to the State Board of Education on how the elements within the California Every Student Succeeds Act impacts curriculum and instruction.
Impact curriculum, yes.
If I may just recommend to add plan, the California ESSA state plan. The plan is developed on the ESSA Act. So I would just recommend California Every Student Succeeds Act state plan.
Okay.
Board Member
I
Strauss?
believe that is what is intended.
Just a suggestion is that our CPAG, our California Practitioners Advisory Group, does advise on the plan. So I would it might be helpful since the focus of IQC is instructional standards, materials, and implementation, that we keep that the focus, since we have an appointed state commission that does. Although we'll keep the updates and ask CDE to keep the IQC updated as to where we are on that, because we do have another commission that deals with that.
Well, and I think at the time when the idea of having this ad hoc committee was originally proposed by a previous member, the idea was there was this encapsulated idea about what intervention and support would look like. And under a lot of the models we've seen before, there were mandates given to districts about what to do with their curriculum, what to do with their instructional minutes, and what to do with their planning and those activities that related directly to instruction. And so while that's not necessarily something that the CPAG would be doing, because the CPAG is correct, advises the board about developing the plan, when it comes to the implementation and goes to the types of support and intervention that are planned, it becomes more about instructional decisions that are either taken away from districts or that are expanded upon to give districts some flexibility. And that does become more of the kind of consideration that could be a conversation here. So we are going to have to try to figure out a way to parse out what exactly would be the charge of this ad hoc committee, so that there's a clear distinction between their advisory role as it relates to instructional issues and the role of the CPAG as it relates to the state plan. So while we have an understanding of the intent, let me suggest not, as the staff said in trying to point out or tease out this distinction, maybe talk about as it relates to the charge of the IQC. Maybe even adding that parenthetical might even go a little bit further to help clarify that.
So my immediate response to that is, wow. And so how do I take all of that and put it into 1, 2, or even 3 goals? I'm not sure.
If I may suggest language, just for sake of consistency, I notice in the other goals for the other SMCs, there's like a phrase that is used for a goal that's similar to this, and
Right.
it's that affect curriculum assessment and professional learning, or curriculum assessment, professional learning, and instructional materials
So-
in fill in the blank, you know?
So, Commissioner Chow, you read my mind. So as a second attempt at this, let me see if the following would capture what it is that you're saying. Although I'm not certain, let me take a shot at it. Remain informed on how the ESSA, I'm using the acronym ESSA, affects curriculum, assessment, professional learning, and instructional material. Or did I miss an element there?
Is it California as a Act state?
So the ESSA state plan.
As Board Member Rucker was talking about, we need to differentiate between what this ad hoc committee is doing and our California Practitioner Advisory Group. So remember,
Right.
when yesterday in our orientation, we had the 5 different commissions, and I talked about the California Practitioners Advisory Group is giving guidance and specific feedback to the State Board of Education on the California plan that's aligned with the Every Student Succeeds Act. Okay, that is their role and their job. That's not ours. But our role is to stay informed of the California State Plan and the Every Student Succeeds Act and what those implications are for your work as the Instructional Quality Commission. And so that's in relation to curriculum and instruction.
I've heard what you said, and I'm trying to reconcile that with my last iteration or attempt at a goal, and I'm not sure that what I've said would in any way conflict with Board Member Rucker was suggesting, because, and I'm not sensitive about this, I'm just really trying to reconcile this. The way it reads is remain informed.
Right.
Remain informed on how versus recommend. I didn't say anything about recommending to the state board or anything. So it just reads remain informed on how the ESSA, I guess we could say ESSA state plan affects curriculum, assessment, professional learning, and instructional material, because all I'm saying is informed. I understand the CPAC, to use that acronym.
So you would need to say California ESSA state plan.
Okay, I see. So add California state. So just for the sake of everyone, again, I'm really trying to focus in on the word state, or the words remain informed. Remain informed. Once again, remain informed on how the California ESSA state plan affects curriculum, including assessment, professional learning, and instructional material. It seems to follow the same set and stem structure as goals in the other subject matter committees. And so I'm not sure if that is not in line with Board Member Rucker was suggesting. We're good? Okay. So I'm not sure, given that it's not scripted, I'm not sure if the ideal thing to do here would be to suggest first, before taking a motion, would be to open it up once again for discussion for some additional goals. So at this moment, it would seem, and I can repeat it if needed, I did make one suggestion. I can certainly repeat it for the subject matter committee if you'd like, before I open it up for some potential additional goals. So would anybody like me to repeat the?
Yes.
Okay, so what we have in place right now is the goal would be remain informed on how the California ESSA state plan affects curriculum, assessment, professional learning, and instructional material.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And I would like to propose one question.
Sure.
Were there, for the previous ad hoc committee, were there no goals for 2017?
It was the Assessment and Accountability Ad Hoc Committee, and those goals were not relevant
to what the new committee is doing. Got it.
Because we've had such a shift with ESSA and the California accountability system that we needed to start again and have our work be relevant to the current state of that.
Thank you.
So the only thing I think we would need to add on that is within the charge of the Instructional Quality Commission. And I would recommend, instead of instructional materials, instructional resources.
Mm-hmm.
So if you wouldn't mind, given that suggested goal, where would you plug in within, I think you said the charge of the Instructional Quality Commission?
So at the very end, as it relates to the charge of the Instructional Quality Commission.
So it'd be a qualifier at the end, as it really, okay.
Mhm.
So, 1 second. So just bear with me here as we develop our first goal to repeat. It now reads, remain informed on how the California ESSA state plan affects curriculum, assessment, professional learning, and instructional resources as it relates to the IQC, or Instructional Quality Commission. So should we use the word charge as it relates to the charge of the IQC, or?
You can keep it, but yeah, I would. Yeah.
As it relates to the charge. All right, so I'm going to imagine here that I should repeat it again, because eventually we're going to vote on it, so just bear with me here, I know. Remain informed on how the California ESSA state plan affects curriculum, assessment, professional learning, and instructional resources as it relates to the charge of the IQC. So I'm not taking it to a vote yet, obviously, but I'm getting some informal head nods. And I'm not going to subject it to a vote until I open it up for some additional goals. So at this moment, I would like to ask the subject matter committee if there are suggestions for any additional goals. I'm not sure that we need any additional ones, given that it's new, but oh, we do need one more. Is that per?
Would recommend one more that's specific around the California statewide system of support.
So how about this? Same phrasing, simply change the California ESSA state plan to the California system of support, but then the rest of the wording remains the same? Yes. Okay. So to save time, instead of writing that down, I'm going to, right. All right. So would anybody like to repeat the second goal before I open it up to a vote?
Yes, please.
Okay. It would be remain informed on how the California statewide system of support affects curriculum, assessment, professional learning, and instructional resources as it relates to the charge of the IQC. Whew. So, that sound so far?
Yes.
Okay, so let me see if I can get back to the script now.
Yes.
Are there any questions or comments about the goals we set for 2018? Looking around, see none. Are there any other goals that you want to add? See none. I call for a motion to approve the 2018 goals and forward them to the full commission.
I so move.
Second.
Commissioner Bromlichek has moved, and Commissioner Lara has seconded the motion to approve the 2018 goals as presented and forward them to the full commission. Is there any discussion on this motion or on the motion? Is there any public comment on the motion? All in favor of the motion, please raise your hands.
Aye.
All opposed? Seeing none? No one abstained from voting? No. The motion passes. At this time, we invite any public comment on items on today's committee agenda. If there are any speakers, please come forward, identify yourself. All right. Seeing none, I now call for a close of the meeting for the ESSA Ad Hoc Committee.
Okay, nice job, Commissioner Iniguez, even without talking points. So that's awesome.
Yes.
You're my new hero. So conveniently, it's 12 o'clock right now. And at this point in the meeting, all subject matter committees have established goals, but the full IQC has not made a motion to pass those goals quite yet. And we'd like to do that after lunch. So maybe we'll break for lunch now and reconvene after as a full commission and finish the job. Yes. And then, how does 30 minutes sound for lunch? Okay, awesome. So we'll meet back at 12:30. Okay, welcome back from lunch, everybody. So as I was explaining earlier, we now have the last bit of our meeting to complete, which is to create a motion to move all of the 2018 goals from the subcommittees to the full Instructional Quality Commission. So during the commission subcommittee meetings, all of the committees approved their 2018 goals and forwarded them to the full commission for approval. As chair of the commission, I move as a blanket motion to approve all of the 2018 goals for the following committees: the Executive Committee, Health Subject Matter Committee, Science Subject Matter Committee, History Social Science Subject Matter Committee, Education Technology Committee, Visual and Performing Arts SMC Subject Matter Committee, World Language Subject Matter Committee, ELA, ELD Subject Matter Committee, Mathematics Subject Matter Committee, Physical Education Subject Matter Committee, and ESSA Ad Hoc Committee. Is there a second to the motion?
I second the motion.
Commissioner Krishna seconds the motion. Is there any discussion? Is there any public comment? Okay, I call for a vote on the motion. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? And abstain? Any abstentions? Okay, the motion passes. And so now I'd like to open the floor for any commissioners that would like to report out. Yeah, Commissioner Lara.
Sure. Thank you. Fellow commissioners, thank you. It's been an exciting past 2 days. I really appreciate and learned a lot from each and every one of you, both personally and also professionally within our duties and scope of the IQC. I did have a question. I didn't want to make it a formal motion, but just a suggestion for something we may be able to think about in the future. I noticed that one of the things that we said was an interest for many of the new board members, commissioners, I'm sorry, when we came on was equity and access. And while we talked universally, we really didn't go into that at all over the last 2 days. And so I would like to recommend that it's sometime in the future, we set aside some time to talk about or have a training or some sort of discussion on unconscious bias. I know I went through a training program from with the California Teachers Association that's actually awesome. I'm not sure if that's what we need or something different. But I do know that there's a hidden curriculum sometimes, the things that get taught, things that don't get taught, things that are in materials, things that aren't materials. And since we're talking about curriculum and instruction, and I know that equity and access is an important thing to all of us up here on the dais, I think it's important that we have an open and frank discussions about some things we may not have right in front of us. And so I just wanted to say a suggestion maybe in the future. It's not a formal motion, like I said, so I don't want to have a full-on discussion about it, but at least planting the semilla, the seed, for hopefully something in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Lara, for that suggestion. Commissioner Diaz?
I just want to thank the entire Seaford staff and Dr. Grayson for an amazing orientation yesterday. It was just so well thought out, very active. I know this is my 3rd year into my 4-year term, and I took away a lot from just the way it was very active and hands-on. So again, I just want to thank all the hard work that went into planning that orientation.
Anybody else like to say a few words? Okay. Well, hearing none, this concludes the January meeting of the Instructional Quality Commission, and I'd like to adjourn the meeting. We had 1 second. We never want to forget public comment. Thank you, Dr. Gregson. Is there any public comment? Okay, great. Perfect. Then I will now adjourn the meeting of the Instructional Quality Commission.